and thank you everyone for joining. We're also very pleased that Don Yeager has joined us from Acumatica. So Don, thank you, and feel free to participate on any of the slides where you would like to.
You bet, and thanks for including us.
Absolutely. All right, so today we are going to talk a little bit about American Payment Solutions and the challenges that credit card processing does present. Then we will show you our integration with Acumatica, talk about integrating with APS, a bit about our partner program, and next steps. So APS, American Payment Solutions, we have been in the payment processing industry for over 25 years, and we currently process for thousands of merchants, both in the US and Canada. Our sweet spot, if you will, for processing volumes of our clients range between 2,000 and 10 million on a monthly basis. That being said, we have customers that are processing less than 2,000 and customers that are processing higher than 10 million a month. So we can help all of your customers. One of the things we're very proud of is our customer support team. We are fanatical about helping our clients, and we answer the phone. We don't put you in a queue. We don't require customers to fill out a form and tell us what their problem is. We are there to help you help your clients with any questions they may have. Another big thing when you are processing credit cards is being PCI compliant, and we offer support for that at no additional charge. We'll talk about that a little bit more here shortly. So we do have integrations with a number of ERPs, including the QuickBooks Pro, Premier, and Enterprise, Sage 100 and 300, Acumatica, and SAP Business One, and more. You can see we have a number that are in development right now. And then we also have some other integrations. I'm going to ask Bryce to talk to this slide.
Great, thanks, Tricia. So obviously, being a credit card processor, we not only have kind of niche integrations into these wonderful, packages like Acumatica as an example, but we also handle the card present and e-commerce portion of companies as well. So the top three there, Magento, Shopify, WooCommerce, those are the three most commonly used shopping carts in the United States. We also integrate into about 200 other smaller shopping carts throughout the country and in Canada as well. Also, some of you probably noticed Fusion on there. We also integrate through Fusion. And for other point of sales, some of the major point of sales out there in the marketplace are Aloha, Micros, and Shift4. We have direct integrations to all those as well. And really the point here is if you have a client who is a wholesaler, card not present, none of this really matters. We just have our plug-in into Acumatica and off they go. But if they do have some e-commerce needs or even retail needs, we service all three of those aspects of the company. So a couple things here. So when it comes to credit card processing, the number one complaint that you're going to hear out in the marketplace is that they don't really understand what they're getting charged and why they're getting charged. So we always take a consultative approach in helping explain their existing fees. And then in turn, when they choose American Payment Solutions, we provide them transparent merchant statements and help walk them through the billing so they have a really, really good idea of what they're getting charged and why they're getting charged. The other portion too is in credit card processing, there's so many different rates, rate structures. You have flat rate, tiered rates, pass-through rates. There's a lot of different ways of pricing a merchant account. And we've kind of taken a holistic approach to this, mainly because of the partners that we have. We want to make sure that it's very transparent to not only the merchant, but also the partner that we have, that our rates are guaranteed and they're very, very transparent. We always price interchange plus, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. Tricia already mentioned PCI compliance. We do not outsource PCI compliance. We do it in-house, and we have 24/7 support with that. So if you have a merchant who maybe is PCI non-compliant right now, maybe they are storing credit cards locally, that's one of the critical issues that we like to address on that first discovery call we have with your client. Also, no junk fees. Our merchant accounts are literally $15 a month. And I'll break that down for you, but typically a merchant's paying anywhere from $15 upwards of $100 a month for their account, and then they have their fees on top. We have a flat rate of $15 that covers all of our fees, month in, month out, indefinitely for that merchant. Also, module and setup fees. So some of our competition specifically in the ERP space does have some sort of setup fees, annual fee, maintenance fee, implementation, or module fees. We have none of that. We've really decided as a company on all the integrations we write to offer it at no cost to the partner and to the merchant. So if somebody does want to switch to APS and have a fully integrated solution that's PCI compliant, we do it at no cost, and they just switch their merchant account to us. Also, unjustified maintenance and support fees. So obviously, as a reseller or even other VARs out in the marketplace, typically their business model is to make money on the recurring revenue from billable hours, and we understand that, but that is not our business model. If a merchant calls us and there's an issue, or maybe they want something tweaked or customized for them, and it takes 40 hours to do, we're going to do it to earn their business. We're not going to charge them any maintenance or support fees, period. All right, so obviously I covered a couple things there, but here's some of the main points of why companies choose our company to have an integrated solution. First off, our reporting features. So when you're processing credit cards through Acumatica, which Tricia is going to show us, it's very seamless. But when it comes on the back end and you have a controller, CFO, COO, and they're wanting to pull reports of all sorts of pre-authorizations, authorizations, captures, voids, refunds. There's a number of ways you can pull a report. All that's capable for free through our virtual terminal. We don't really have enough time to go into that during the 60 minutes, but afterwards, if you want to see more in-breadth knowledge of what we can offer, we're happy to show you that. Also, next day funding is available, so we do not charge at all for next day funding. Typical funding time in our industry is about 24 to 48 hours, where for us, if you batch out by 9 p.m. Eastern time, the money hits your account the following morning at 8 a.m. So it's literally a 12, 13-hour turnaround time, including American Express. Also, we do have the ability to process internationally. As Tricia mentioned, we are a U.S.-based processor. We recently registered with Visa and MasterCard back in January up in Canada, and we're about to move into Mexico as well. Level 3 processing. This is by far the biggest position that we have as a company that makes us different compared to our competitors besides the actual integration itself. If you have any wholesalers, manufacturers, distributors as clients, which Acumatica is a great product for, we have level 3 processing directly built into our Acumatica integration to where we all of a sudden can cut their cost down from a processing perspective upwards of 1%. So if you have a client who does $1 million, now all of a sudden we're saving them $10,000 on that million based on our level 3 integration. And it's really for those B2B type of companies. We'll go more in detail on that. The next really, really big benefit of working with us is we're a direct partner with American Express as well. So traditionally you had to have 2 separate merchant IDs, one with American Express Direct, and then one with your processor who handled Discover, MasterCard, and Visa. Now we've consolidated all of that, and that's why we're able to offer next day funding. It's one single batch that hits your bank account, so it's easier for bank reconciliation for the controller or CFO. And the pricing is reduced. American Express now with OptBlue is actually very comparable to Visa and MasterCard rates as well. I would say about half the calls I go on with prospects or future customers of APS, they don't even accept American Express, or they tend to push their clients away from paying with Amex because the rates are too high. So not only can we help save them money on the level 3 processing, on American Express, if they are accepting it, if we can cut that rate by 0.5% or 1% sometimes, that can make all the difference. So once a merchant actually does come into the APS fold and they want to use our system, the quick approval process is literally 3 to 5 business days, and they're up and running. So that is kind of coupled with the next bullet line, streamlined installation process. So if you have a client who already has Acumatica and they really, really want integrated processing, if you introduce them to American Payment Solutions, they like what they see, they fill out a merchant application and return it, we can get them up and running within a week. We've been doing this for a very long time on the Sage side, and now quite a while with Acumatica as well. We've installed hundreds of ERP implementations, and we really, really know what we're doing now when it comes to installing on an ERP. All right, so talking about the competition within Acumatica. So Authorize.net is definitely a familiar name. You know, it's a household name when it comes to processing. And a lot of companies choose Authorize.net because it's kind of the go-to. You know, if you Google payment gateways, you know, for my merchant processing, Authorize.net is going to pay for that #1 spot on Google. And they have an integration into Acumatica. But here's the reality, and here's the difference between Authorize.net and our company, American Payment Solutions. If you have a client who wants to use Authorize.net, they're going to have their merchant account provider from their credit card processor. They're going to have their gateway, which has fees on top of it for Authorize.net to connect it to Acumatica. And then they're actually going to have to buy the actual software, right? Or at least pay for service anytime they need something custom. So really they're paying 3 separate companies in that environment. And anytime something goes wrong, they need a tweak, they need a customization, it can be a little bit difficult to figure out who to call for that specific piece or issue they're running into. Or with our company, we develop the integrations. We're also a gateway provider. We use our own gateway called APS Pays to build our integrations. And we're a merchant account provider. So when an Acumatica end user chooses APS and they need anything, they know they're calling one company, and it's free. The other part of that is the benefits of the lower fees, and that we actually know the Acumatica channel. So we build the relationships with those out there who sell Acumatica, and we have a relationship with Acumatica corporate. So if they ever do need anything that's really, really escalated, we now have everybody who helps support their solution on that email, on that phone call to help escalate that issue and resolve it as fast as possible. And I think this next slide is going to talk a little bit more. Yeah, so going back, I said I'm going to mention level 3 processing a little bit more. So again, if you have clients who are B2B or even business to government, level 3 processing is going to be a game changer for that company. And I don't use that lightly. Right now, if they don't have level 3, right, if they're just using something like Authorize.net or a virtual terminal from their existing bank, or even a standalone terminal, a lot of companies are still keying in the credit card and then manually applying that to an invoice within Acumatica later. They're not getting level 3 benefits. And you can see the reason why. For level 3, you actually have to send all of this data back to your processor to verify it's a business-to-business or a business-to-government transaction. So the way we build all of our integrations, and specific to Acumatica, we grab all of this line item detail off the sales order, off the invoice, off the actual customer itself. That way, it's happening in the back of the software, so the end user doesn't even really know it's happening as they're fulfilling their orders, as they're taking orders over the phone, or it's coming in through the web, and they're qualifying for level 3. And again, this takes the rate from typically around a 3% to a 2% on these business-to-business transactions. And I am oversimplifying a little bit. I think if you have clients who are in this arena, we would like to look at their merchant statements and kind of walk them through what this looks like, particularly for them. But we've saved companies 6 figures. There's one company in particular, $123,000 in annual savings for a free integration. So now they could turn around and buy that integrated website, buy that integrated shipping and warehouse management systems that they were wanting, but they simply didn't have it in the fiscal budget. Now the credit card processing can pay for that because of our level 3 integration. So,
all right.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to hand it back over to Tricia, and she's going to cover the actual integration with Acumatica.
So this just gives you a couple of screenshots. We'll go into the live instance here in a moment. But one of the things that we're very proud about with our integration, it's really built on the framework that Acumatica provides your customers that are using it on a day-to-day basis. And within that, we'll provide the daily automatic batch reporting. Everything is encrypted and sent to our vault, which I'll demonstrate here shortly. Again, something very, very important for PCI compliance. And we also provide multiple verification options for addresses. I think Dawn was going to chime in here as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing I wanted to say is that, first of all, APS is a great partner with us, and we're very pleased to have this integration. I think Bryce alluded to the fact, too, that there's so much money that can be saved, and when you look at combining a solution like Acumatica with APS and going in right from the beginning with a combined solution, often the savings on the APS side can help to justify the whole entire purchase of both systems, which is absolutely phenomenal. And naturally, we have a lot of advantages that we feel we offer as a vendor of ERP solutions, but having a great integration with APS, that's just one of the many things. So we really appreciate the fact that they've chosen to integrate their product with ours as well, so our customers and our partners can benefit.
Thanks, Dawn. All right, so you should be able to see my screen with my demo instance of Acumatica. And so typically, you would start out in the accounts receivable module. And I'll walk you through creating a sales order and then how you would pay that. Before doing that, again, like I said earlier, everything that we have built within our integration is based on the Acumatica framework. So what you do want to, you would have a customer, everybody, at any information that you've inputted for your particular customer would populate here. The one thing that you want to be sure to do is to connect a payment method for a particular customer that you will be taking credit cards for. So today we'll work with ABC Studios, and they've indicated to us that they want to add a Visa. And you'll notice as soon as I indicate Visa, the field here with Processing Center ID populates with APS. And that is basically the indicator that all of that credit card processing for ABC Studios will go through American Payment Solutions. These fields down here also populated or popped up. And then I will add in our credit card information here. And you'll notice as I tab out of the field, it defaults to zeros. What this is doing is it is basically sending the information and encrypting it to the APS Pays vault. So none of this information is stored on Acumatica. Again, a key contributor to being compliant, PCI compliant. So we save the credit card information. So now anytime there is a payment involved with ABC Studios, this Visa is attached to it. So you get to the point and you are going to build a sales order. We'll come over here. We'll build a sales order for ABC Studios. We'll select our customer. And then for those of you not familiar with Acumatica, you would come down here, check that little plus sign, add your inventory item. And again, this a lot of this information is important when you get to the level 3 rates and the ability to take advantage of those level 3 discounts that Bryce was talking about earlier. I'll go ahead and save this sales order. And then there's a couple of ways you can apply payment to this particular sales order. You can come over here to the Payment Settings tab right within this same window, and you'll see that has defaulted to the credit card information I just associated with ABC Studios. And you'll notice down here that you have two buttons. You can pre-authorize payment of $250, or you can capture and actually bill this particular credit card immediately. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and pre-authorize this information, or this amount. You can see the little gear working up here, which shows that it is actually taking that information, it's communicating with our portal, which I'll show you shortly, and you get the fact that it is now pre-authorized, it's successful. And then this is very important. Bryce was talking about all the reports you could run in our APS Pays gateway or portal. This number is a reference number to this pre-authorization. The other number that is important and cross-referenceable is the purchase or the sales order number up here, 262, and I'll be able to show you that when we look in our portal. Oftentimes, workflows will involve creating a shipment against this sales order. So you can come up to the Actions tab, go ahead and create the shipment. And you can see it is creating the shipment up here. So now our shipment has been created. We can go ahead and confirm it. And again, this is all built, our payment processing here is built on the structure of Acumatica. So the little green check mark says, all right, it is ready, and it's ready to prepare an invoice. So now our invoice is just about prepared, and I can come over, again, staying in the same area, come over to payment information, and you'll see here is our Visa. Authorize is no longer, you can't click on it because we've already pre-authorized that. In this case, the parameters are set up to give a cash discount, but we'll go ahead and capture this information or this payment. And so what's happening now is we're basically billing that credit card. And you can see down here, we originally did the pre-authorization, and now we have captured it. And we have our transaction number or our processing number, and both were successful. So this would be the APS portal that you can always come over to. And you can choose reports, and this is what Bryce was referring to earlier. And there is so much detail, so many reports and information that you can pull from this. But what I want to show you right now is the transaction that we just ran. So these are the transactions that have been run today. So we can come over, and we talked about it was sales order 262. And the transaction ID, which was 604. So you can see that we have two line items, if you will, here, the pre-authorization and then the actual card capture. We can dive down a little bit deeper by clicking on that link, and this gives all the details that are associated with that particular transaction. So you can see that it was a Visa with the last 4 digits, the customer, the order ID number, or the sales order ending again in 262, and then this information is some of the important information for the level 3 processing as far as the item, the quantity, the description, the unit cost, and the grand total. And then again, down here, the specific detail as far as the authorization and the actual capture. So that would be one workflow in which you can use the APS payment portal or processing to work right within Acumatica. And you'll notice you really never had to move out of Acumatica at all. We'll come back here to finish out our presentation.
That was a great job, Tricia.
Thank you.
Well done.
That's because Acumatica is so easy to demo. All right, Bryce alluded to this earlier, and with Dawn on, it is proof that we work very closely with Acumatica. They have a tremendous partner team, as those of you who are already partners with Acumatica have found. You can find us on the Acumatica website as well as in their partner portal. So anytime we do a webinar like this, anytime we have new information to share, we work with our team at Acumatica to help get that word out to you. And then we have been participating in ongoing marketing events. We were at the Acumatica Summit in January, webinars such as this, and conferences. And I'll talk a little bit more about actual reseller programs that we do as well here shortly. So we are committed to the partners. We believe that working with you is the way to grow this business. We are 100% partner driven. We do not have end users calling on your customers. And in the unlikely event, very rare event, where we get a call from an end user who says, hey, I'm using Acumatica, saw your payment processing, understand you're integrated, the first question we will ask is, who is your reseller? And then we reach out to the reseller because we will involve you in every step of the process. We have a partner portal. You're probably very familiar with the Acumatica Partner Portal, and you can view all of your customers in that portal, their activity, and then the profitability involved. You decide how much you want to be involved in the sales cycle, and it varies. We have some partners that we work with that are on every meeting. We have others that call and say, hey, I have a customer who's wants to switch to you. Can you call them and get their merchant statements? And then we just keep them updated. So it's really up to you. We have had great success in doing lunch and learns, presentations, webinars to both end users and prospects. And it's a great way to present a thought leadership webinar, if you will, similar to some of the topics that Bryce was talking about, to help people get a little bit more educated about doing or understanding their credit card processing. Because typically you get a merchant statement and you just pay it because you need to pay it, but you don't really look into those fees that are being charged, and that's where we can really save a lot of money. And then we're happy to work with you on marketing kits, marketing materials, basic discovery questions, anything that helps you to further educate your customer and prospect base to realize the benefits of processing their credit cards through APS. So a couple of the ways that we have been working with the Acumatica partners is obviously with existing Acumatica users who may be using a different processor. And it is a seamless switch. As Bryce talked about earlier, we can have a new customer up and running within a week. And I'll talk about the specific steps here shortly. And I think I've stressed enough that our integration is built upon the Acumatica infrastructure. And to Dawn's point earlier, if you're working with a new prospect who's considering Acumatica, one of the best ways to engage is to bring us in early. And we can analyze the merchant statements that your prospect, it has received for the past couple of months and identify savings so that when they switch over to Acumatica, that money, those savings can be reinvested directly into Acumatica. So for the end user, the ROI and the initial investment is significantly less, and sometimes, quite honestly, almost nothing. So what are the steps in switching to American Payment Solutions? So I just talked about submitting merchant statements. We'll do an analysis at no additional charge. We will always review the analysis with our partners first. Make sure that you are understanding where we can identify the savings, what we've found, and where your customer is going to benefit, whether it is from reduced fees, the American Express OptBlue program, the level 3 processing. So we'll walk you through that. Then we'll set up a call with the end user. And then assuming they're pleased with their savings, we'll go ahead and send them the application. They'll complete it, and then we do all the implementation. We onboard them, we work with them to train, to make sure they're comfortable in processing their credit cards using APS within Acumatica. And like I mentioned earlier, you are welcome as a partner to be on every single call that we're on, or pick and choose whatever feels the most comfortable to you. So what are our next steps? Any clients or customers that you're working with, send us your merchant statements. We also process for a lot of our partners. Most of our Acumatica partners are using APS to process their credit card statements. So that's something you'd want to consider. We have a blog, great way to keep in touch, great way for your prospects to keep in touch with us. We have webinars, typically on a monthly basis, and we try to keep everyone informed of our updates and whereabouts with Twitter. So these are great ways to keep in touch, and you can also reach out directly to myself or to Bryce. So with that, Adrienne, I think we should open it up to some questions.
Thank you, Tricia. Great job. Thank you, Dawn, for your participation, and Bryce. We do have a couple questions here. We have one from Ron. Ron, thank you so much for your question. Ron is asking how to become an Acumatica partner and what are the steps involved in becoming an Acumatica partner.
Well, I'll take that one gladly. Thanks for the question. So the steps are actually quite easy. What we do is we have a conversation. I can tell you all about the partner program and how that works. The benefits include things like we're 100% channel centric, so we don't sell anything direct and we'll never compete with you. We don't have any fees for the partner program and we don't have annual fees. We offer training free of charge via the partner portal, and things like you get a copy of the solution to use internally if you'd like, and also the fact that it's really a robust program with a great enablement program for you, including help with pre-sales, help in discovery when you're learning about your customers. We even have a program that can help you implement your first customer to make sure you end up with a happy, satisfied reference. So really the process is quite easy. We'll ask you for some information about your company, and if you decide this looks like the right thing for your organization, we'd ask you to put together, quite simply, just a plan of the people that you're going to be training. Ideally, how many sales would you like to develop in your first year, and what types of marketing you think you do so we can help you with that. And the other thing I'll mention is margins are they start at 40%. They're very, and we don't track revenue, really. We're really tracking how many net new deals our partners do. So I think that's really pretty important. We've got a lot of things that differentiate us too, like the fact that we were built for the cloud. We don't have any legacy product, and even though we are a true SaaS solution, we can also be deployed in any public or private cloud, and we can also be deployed on-prem if a customer so chooses. So that gives you a lot of flexibility, and we also don't price by user. So those are a lot of advantages. And then, of course, being integrated with APS, there's another advantage, a good number of cost savings to be had, and so forth. And the other thing I wanted to interject, just as an aside, my husband runs a business out of the house, and he actually uses APS. So he had a great time working with get converted to APS, and he's enjoying those benefits as well. So thank you for that.
No problem.
And Don, go ahead, Bryce.
Sorry, if you need to buy incredible dog food, buy it from Don's husband. little shout out there.
Thanks.
And Don, to that point, I also wanted to mention we're having a webinar with Acumatica, and we're going to be talking about 3 customers who've received clear ROI on switching over to Acumatica and the benefits of Acumatica. And that'll be on June 28th. So we just invite you to go to erpvar.com, and under the events page, you can sign up for that webinar if you'd like to learn about how 3 customers succeeded with Acumatica. I think that'll be beneficial to you, Ron. Thank you for your question. And then Cindy, how do I get started with APS using your solution?
Great. So Cindy, if you'd like, reach out to Tricia, and basically if you already accept credit cards, send her your 2 most recent merchant statements as well, and then we can kind of do a customized one-on-one analysis, walking through your merchant statements, how much you're paying now, how much you would pay with APS. If you're not accepting credit cards today as a company, we'll just offer you, I'm assuming that you're also a reseller, we'll offer you a partner rate. It's extremely low cost to process credit cards with us, with all of our partners. And Tricia will help you get set up, and she'll loop in one of the sales engineers to assist with that.
Perfect. I'm not seeing any other questions. I just want to remind the audience that if you do have a question, just go ahead and click on that question mark button and key in your question, and we'll read it live. So we'll hold around here for a minute or so to see if we have any further questions from the audience. And Tricia, Dawn, Bryce, did you guys have any closing remarks?
Well,
I think that I'd like to thank everyone, probably on behalf of all of us, for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. And oftentimes you hang up from one of these and 2 hours later you think, oh, I wish I'd asked that question. We'll be sending this information out as well as the recording. Please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us, and we'd be happy to help.
Thank you, Tricia. All right, well, with that, we're going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you, everybody, again. I'd like to thank you as well for spending time with us. We know time's hard to come by, so we surely appreciate it. And the follow-up email will come from Adrian at ERPVAR, so be on the lookout for that, and the recording and all the contact information, as Tricia just mentioned, will be included. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dawn. Bye-bye.
Bye.